Let's get ready to rumble. Okay. Howdy, everybody. Welcome to Word Redeux 95. Happy Sabbath and hello, London.
What it do?
Yes, what it do. Not what it do. What it do. That. Anyways, let's refresh that. Hey, YouTube's on time, believe it or not.
Just got the notification.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at that. You know, it's funny because I used to have a gap in between my front teeth. I used to tell people, that's the only thing my dad ever gave me, and it's what I'm going to give to my kids, too. But then I started flossing, and it started closing up. Imagine that. That. All right. Did you have a good week?
Yeah, it was all right. A little stressful towards the end, but
It happens. Don't eat Taco Bell on Wednesday.
I eat tacos every day for lunch.
Do you?
Yeah, yes, I'm a simple man. I eat something until I get sick of it.
I may hire you as a chef when I win the lottery.
It's out of convenience. You cook the ground beef, you got a meal for a week. That's
Right? Yeah. Okay, everybody. If you don't have a Bible, you can go to kingjamesbibleonline.org, blueletterbible.org, esword.net, biblehub.com. And if you'd like listening to the Bible, there's audio Bible at BibleStudyTools.com, plus a whole bunch of other stuff. If you are feeling compelled to come out of Babylon, I think the next classes start Monday. Go to c2kreport.com and ask about the free classes. Today we are continuing on in the book of Joshua, chapter 3 and chapter 4. Is there anything else? Oh, yeah. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe. Thanks for posting that, Lynn. That's the live link to c2kreport.com. Okay, let's go ahead and pray in. Father, thank you very much for giving us this time today to come and study your word and to fellowship with our brothers and sisters. We're extremely grateful for that. We would ask you to pour out your spirit on everybody that's here now, today and in the future, and let us get the message you want us to have from this reading. Let it be a blessing to everybody that partakes, and we would also ask your healing upon people that are having some health issues right now. There's people that need their hands healed, and other people are dealing with more serious issues and not having good luck with the medical system. So we would ask you to show them what it is that you have created that will help their situation. Thank you. Bless you in Jesus Yeshua's name. Amen. Let's see. Oh, I said I'd go first, didn't I?
you did.
Okay. Let's see. Does anybody want to read? Along? I still am looking for the bouncing ball app, if anybody knows what that is.
We could create it.
That's true. I got an Android. Okay. Joshua chapter 3. And Joshua rose early in the morning, and they removed from Shittim and came to Jordan, he and all the children of Israel, and lodged there before they passed over. And it came to pass after 3 days that the officers went through the host, and they commanded the people, saying, when you see the ark of the covenant of the Lord your God, and the priests, the Levites, bearing it, then you shall remove from your place and go after it. Yet there shall be a space between you and it, about 2,000 cubits by measure. Come not near unto it, that you may know the way by which you must go, for you have not passed this way heretofore. And Joshua said unto the people, sanctify yourselves, for tomorrow the Lord will do wonders among you. And Joshua spake unto the priests, saying, take up the ark of the covenant and pass over before the people. And they took up the ark of the covenant and went before the people. And the Lord said unto Joshua, this day will I begin to magnify thee in the sight of all Israel, that they may know that as I was with Moses, so I will be with thee. And thou shalt command the priests that bear the ark of the covenant, saying, when you are come to the brink of the water of Jordan, you shall stand still in Jordan. And Joshua said unto the children of Israel, come hither and hear the words of the Lord your God. And Joshua said, hereby you shall know that the living God is among you, and that he will without fail drive out from before you the Canaanites and the Hittites and the Hivites and the Perizzites and the Girgashites and the Amorites and the Jebusites. Behold, the ark of the covenant of the Lord of all the earth passeth over before you into Jordan. Now, therefore, take you 12 men out of the tribes of Israel, out of every tribe a man. And it shall come to pass, as soon as the soles of the feet of the priests that bear the ark of the Lord of all the earth, shall rest in the waters of Jordan, that the waters of the Jordan shall be cut off from the waters that come down from above, and they shall stand upon an heap. And it came to pass, when the people removed from their tents to pass over Jordan, the priests bearing the ark of the covenant before the people, and as they bear the ark were come unto Jordan, and the feet of the priests that bear the ark were dipped into the brim of the water, for Jordan overfloweth all his banks all the time of harvest, that the waters which came down from above stood and rose up upon an heap very far from the city Adam, that is beside Zaratan. And those that came down toward the sea of the plain, even the salt sea, failed and were cut off, and the people passed over right against Jericho. And the priests that bear the ark of the covenant of the Lord stood firm on dry ground in the midst of Jordan. And all the Israelites passed over on dry ground until all the people were passed clean over Jordan. Joshua chapter 4. And it came to pass, when all the people were clean passed over Jordan, that the Lord spake unto Joshua, saying, take you 12 men out of the people, out of every tribe a man, and command ye them, saying, take you hence out of the midst of Jordan, out of the place where the priest's feet stood firm, 12 stones, and you shall carry them over with you, and leave them in the lodging place, where you shall lodge this night. Then Joshua called the 12 men whom you had prepared of the children of Israel, out of every tribe a man.
And Joshua said to them, pass on before the ark of the Lord your God into the midst of the Jordan, and take up each of you a stone upon his shoulder, according to the number of the tribes of the people of Israel, that this may be a sign among you when your children ask in time to come, what do these stones mean to you? Then you shall tell them what the waters of the Jordan. Tell them that the waters of the Jordan were cut off before the ark of the covenant of the Lord. When it passed over the Jordan, the waters of the Jordan were cut off. So these stones shall be to the people of Israel a memorial forever. And the people of Israel did just as Joshua commanded, and took up 12 stones out of the midst of the Jordan, according to the number of the tribes of the people of Israel, just as the Lord told Joshua. And they carried them over with them to the place where they lodged, and laid them down there. And Joshua set up 12 stones in the midst of the Jordan, in the place where the feet of the priest bearing the ark of the covenant had stood, and they are there to this day. For the priest bearing the ark stood in the midst of the Jordan until everything was finished that the Lord commanded Joshua to tell the people, according to all that Moses had commanded Joshua. The people passed over in haste. When all the people had finished passing over, the ark of the Lord and the priests passed over before the people. The sons of Reuben, the sons of Gad, the half-tribe of Manasseh passed over armed before the people of Israel, as Moses had told them. About 40,000 ready for war passed over before the Lord for battle to the plains of Jericho. On that day the Lord exalted Joshua in the sight of all Israel, and they stood in awe of him, just as they stood in awe of Moses all the days of his life. And the Lord said to Joshua, command the priest bearing the ark of the testimony to come up out of the Jordan. So Joshua commanded the priest, come up out of the Jordan. And when the priest bearing the ark of the covenant of the Lord came up from the midst of the Jordan, and the soles of the priest's feet were lifted up on dry ground, the waters of the Jordan returned to their place and overflowed all the banks as before. The people came up out of the Jordan on the 10th day of the first month, and they encamped at Gilgal on the east border of Jericho. And those 12 stones which they took out of the Jordan, Joshua set up at Gilgal. And he said to the people of Israel, when your children ask their fathers in times to come, what do these stones mean? Then you shall let your children know Israel passed over this Jordan on dry ground. For the Lord your God dried up the waters of the Jordan for you until you passed over, as the Lord your God did to the Red Sea, which he dried up for us until we pass over, so that all the peoples of the earth may know that the hand of the Lord is mighty, that you may fear the Lord your God forever. Ran out of breath there.
Okay, what?
So I ran out of breath for a second there.
Yep. I know that feeling well. All right, man. Let's go back to chapter 3, shall we? Si, senor. Yeah.
You got it.
That, oh man, another cliffhanger, because last week I was thinking that this was going to be the Battle of Jericho, but it's not yet.
Right.
Right? That's how we keep the ratings high in TV land.
Right. Next week.
Tune in next week. Okay. Anyways, so basically, I found this pretty interesting. They tell all the people to follow the priests that are carrying the ark, but make it a distance of 2,000 cubits. Right? That's a huge distance. That's a pretty big distance. That's what are we talking about here? About a little over a mile. No, not a mile. It's about half a mile. A little over half a mile.
Just enough you look like a mirage to your enemies in the desert.
Yeah, it's pretty strange.
Yeah.
And it's harvest season too, right? We find that out in the next chapter. And that, okay, I'm missing something. What is PGV? Parental guidance versus, I don't know. Anyways. So, I mean, it kind of tells us, right? To stay away from why they're to stay away from the ark. That's kind of weird. That it's such a big distance. Oh, okay. That's right. PG stands for violence. Or V stands for violence. Yep. It's going to be a good reading. Did you get anything out of this, brother?
He got up earlier than everybody else, probably because he wanted the gym to himself.
Because you what?
I said probably because he wanted the gym to himself.
Right.
Nobody's up at 4 a.m.
Yeah. That's when I was going, 4 a.m. And then people would really start flowing in about the time I got done. Okay.
It's interesting that he keeps repeating drying up bodies of water. And generally he uses water to cleanse things, especially like corruption and all that, baptism, that. But he dries it. Oh, I was thinking too as we were reading this, because all the priests had to go into the water. So the ones in the front were probably like waist deep before the fellas in the back, their souls started touching the water. It wasn't until they were all dipped in the water that he dried it up.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. The other thing too, water is barriers. Water is a barrier for the for spiritual boundaries, right? So, like we see in Revelation, that the river Euphrates gets dried up for the kings of the east now to be moving, but those kings of the east are under principalities, right? Spiritual principalities.
Right.
So that barrier has to be removed. So it's real interesting.
That, I mean, back then it would have been a physical barrier too.
Yeah.
I used to play a game called Total War. It was a strategy game.
Yeah.
Independent, if you had horsemen and all that, and I learned because I was doing it as a kid. You'd have an enemy army on the other side, and you have all your flank. You know, they're set up, and there's like one bridge, and you try to bring your people over there, and they're just slaughtering them. You know what I mean? So,
oh yeah, it's a choke point.
I bet the Jerichoans were kind of betting on that. That's got to be a terrifying sight when it's like, oh, you know, don't worry, the walls will fix it.
Yeah. The walls will take care of everything. Yeah. And then there's that one Jerichoan naysayer who's all, their God dried up the Red Sea, and you don't think he can stop that river?
Yeah, then they're like, kill him, you know.
Sacrifice him to Baal.
Right. People don't change, man.
Yeah, that's true. People are people. People are people. All right.
What's a rakia?
A rakia? Spirit?
Oh.
GR, he wants the definition of rakia, since you're speaking other languages here. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. And you know, as soon as the feet, do you think it was like, you know, we have this kind of proverbial, you know, dip your toes in the water to test it out. Rakia is firmament.
Okay.
Yep. We know that what's above the firmament is going to be coming down below the firmament. This is truth. So it's pretty interesting. They touch the water and boop. And then they command those men. So chapter 3 is basically the commands. This is the way it's going to go down. And then chapter 4 is, hey, look, this is how it happened.
But they had to pass up the ark to get to the other side too. That is strange that there was such a distance between them, because they had to walk beyond them to get across, and then the priests come over.
Yep. So did that were they walking? Were they passing 2,000 cubits downstream?
I don't know. It's
Well, and we have how many millions of people crossing with their cattle and sheep and
this is all the people. I thought it was all men for some reason.
Well, they're all going to take the land. So, and earlier they had talked about the tribes of the half tribe of Manasseh and the other ones that were going to be getting their allotment on the east side of the Jordan. They could leave their families and livestock behind, but they had to swear to go over and help fight to take the land from all these people that you didn't have to read. That what was it? All the Hittites, what is it? Canaanites, Hittites, Hivites, Perizzites, Girgashites, the Amorites, and the Jebusites.
Could have read that. I don't want names.
That's a lot of ites. I. Okay.
All right.
Oh, wow. Somehow the chat got scrolled all the way up again. All righty. So this is pretty interesting. Do you think that stack of stones is still there somewhere?
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, it says it's still there to this day. Maybe it's covered. Maybe it's underwater. It's definitely hidden because the world seems to want to hide every proof. Doesn't matter which country. And as soon as you're like, see, this is real, they're like, you can't go there.
We got some biblical dad jokes going on. Man. Way to go, Gary. Way to go. That. Okay. Yep. So actually, it says Joshua stacks up the 12 stones. Most interesting. Okay, so what else you got noticed on this? Anything jumping out at you? Anybody in the comments? Comments? Chat, I mean. Chat, that's what comments are.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. It also sounds like the water heaped up. If that, right? Because in verse,
It says it flooded it, kind of.
Let's see, where was it? Talks about all the children passing over.
17, 18.
Is it that far down?
I believe so.
18.
Into 18, the waters of the Jordan returned to their places and overflowed all the banks as before.
Well, that's after they came up out of the river. But when they went in, what was it? Where is it? I thought it used, at least in the King James, the word heap for the water. I must be back in chapter 3. Yeah, in verse 316, chapter 316. Interesting number there. That the waters which came down from above stood and rose up upon a heap very far from the city. So it's like it's making a stack of water is the way it sounds to me. And then the waters return to their place.
I'd say it's a pretty big visual warning to your walls. I mean, if you think you could build walls, look at the walls. I bet,
Oh, no. Yep, we had the Giants help build it.
Right.
That. Yep. And somebody realized Goliath could fight. And they said, here, we're not going to whip you for moving rocks anymore. Yep. Yeah. Which is very interesting. There's fish in the Dead Sea now.
Is there?
Yep, very interesting.
Imagine they taste like sardines.
Or anchovies.
Right, that's what, yeah. It's just extremely salty.
Smelt? Smelt? The reason California is burning? Okay, that'll get us banned. Maybe. All right, you got anything else from this? From Joshua 3 and 4? Yeshua.
No.
Okay. All right. Anybody got anything else? Okay, don't forget, next week we are on Joshua 5 and 6. You can read ahead if you want.
Fun medical procedures before we go to war.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, everybody, thanks for coming today. It's greatly appreciated. And Landon, thanks for reading. Greatly appreciated.
Yes, sir. You got it, bud. You got it.
GR's making jokes in the chat. What's going on, GR? Hey. What's going on? Yeah. Yep. 10th day of the first month. That is the day that they declare which lamb is going to be the Passover. Very interesting. Yeah. All right. Anyways, everybody have a beautiful day of rest and be a good ambassador out there. Love you all. Bye. Bye.